Ever felt so tired that even rest doesn't help? That's burnout, when your mind and body are both saying enough. Today, we're joined by a guest who's walked throughout the journey of burnout and has come out on the other side. She'll be sharing her story and how she found her way back to balance. But before we dive in, this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp, our paid partner. BetterHelp connects you with a credentialed therapist who's trained to listen and support you. You just fill out a short questionnaire, get matched, and can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. And the best part, BetterHelp is completely flexible. You can connect with your therapist from anywhere, whether you're at home, traveling, or on your lunch break. Therapy fits into your life, not the other way around. Therapy can be the first step towards a more balanced life. And if you're ready to start that journey, visit BetterHelp using the link below for a 10% off on your first month of therapy. Let's dive into the episode. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Conversation Capital with myself, Ursula Mariani, and the voice of reason, Obonga Bueta. How are you doing, Sisi?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome, thank you. How's your mental health doing? Scale of 1 to 10.
You know, I've been in a really good space. So I would say it's a solid 8. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a strong number.
Yep, it is.
I don't think I've sat in an 8 mental health in a long time.
Well, this episode is for you too.
This episode is for me. Today we're talking all things to do with mental health and specifically burnout. And we've invited Yolanda out and say,
Hello, Ursula.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for taking your time and carving out time to come and share your story with us.
Thank you.
A story on burnout, I think, is one that anybody who's doing the corporate race or even entrepreneurial, the life race, faces at some point the reality that I need to take myself seriously and I need to be kinder to myself. And I know that you're just here to share your story and highlight the importance of that. So maybe let's start at the top. Who's Yolanda?
Yeah, so Yolanda Orense. I'm nearly 51 next month. I'm originally from Cape Town and I live in Johannesburg. I've been here for about 21 years. So I moved up for the career, which we're about to talk about.
Yes.
But so I came up after doing 10 years of my career in Cape Town. It was like I kept traveling up and down to Joburg, and eventually it was like, I can't live out a suitcase. I'm going to relocate. So I did. I'm recently married. Got married 3 years ago. So
for the first time?
For the first time. Call it a late bloomer or just someone who was like, okay, only now I'm ready.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'd known my husband for 25 years. We crossed paths initially and it wasn't the right time for us. And then 12 years later, we met again. And I was so focused on the career. After we'd spent some time together, I said to him, I really can't do this. So yeah, that was it. And then we reconnected 12 years later again. And this time it was right. I was in the right space. He was in the right space. And so, so we've been married for 3 years. I've got a 29-year-old son, Mika, who lives in Randburg in Joburg as well. I actually had him when I was 21, just 6 months into my first job. So I literally grew up with my son. And that's really, it comes into my burnout story, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, and so I live in Joburg now. 2 dogs, Marshall and Puppy, 2 Rottweilers. I'm a big dog kind of girl. So we live up here. And then, and for my work now, literally it's more linked to my purpose and what I do in life is really storytelling, conversations for impact. And so I do that through coaching work. I'm an ontological coach for business coaching and life coaching. A little bit ontological coaching really is, it's looking at the way of the human being, looking at the whole human being. We look at body, emotions, and language when we're coaching. So that's the form of coaching that I work with. And then a bit of wellness work. So I'm a trained massage therapist, reflexology, all of that. And then I trained in something called chakra dancing, which is balancing your energy centers through looking at how the chakra system works. And so your chakras are sort of these energy points down the center meridian of your body.
And you do that through dance?
Yeah, through a dance practice. And it's free form dance. It's trusting what's coming up in your body and you literally look at the root chakra, which is all about grounded energy, or you look at your sacral, which is feminine energy. Solar plexus is masculine energy, your seat of power, your seat of strength. Heart chakra. I love the Sanskrit word for heart, by the way, which is anahata. It means the unhurt. So when our hearts are open, we are unhurt. We're willing to be vulnerable and open with it. Throat chakra, third eye, crown. So we work with that through free-form dance, really to see what's coming up, where is it stuck, what's not working for you there, how do you want to work to heal it, or bring it back into balance. So that's sort of in the space of wellness. But essentially, it's about conversations and storytelling, because I believe if we sit, it's like sitting around the campfire again. But like this, these conversations matter. And this is where we really get to see what's going on with someone. And I truly am of the belief that no one can heal you. No one's come to heal you. You have to go in and look.
You know, as you're talking, I'm thinking about somebody who knows you from 15 years ago and knows you as the MD of an agency.
Oh, goodness.
And they're like, huh? Is this the same Yolanda?
Is this the heels and the inches,
you
Yolanda?
Know, that one, Bonga, that one.
You know, ma'am, wear a tie.
Sure.
Office lady.
Yeah.
What's changed? What happened?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a big part of my life. For 21 years, I was in a marketing communications career. It started out in PR, and then it moved into sponsorship marketing, brand activation, all that. And at the time that I moved up to Joburg, I had the opportunity to, start an agency with 2 other business partners. And so we did that at the time. And I was in that business for 12 or 13 years. So I was one of the MDs and a partner in the business. And it was during that time, it was a big career. We worked on such amazing stuff, big accounts. I got to travel internationally to major sporting events, World Cups, and all sorts of amazing things. But at the time, it was a lot of pressure. And in retrospect, I created a lot of the pressure myself too. So it's part of how I ended up in burnout. But literally, I had been in a state of burnout for probably 3 to 4 years, but I was unaware of it. There were just recurring things happening and I was completely unaware. But what really happened was that I'd gone through nearly about 2-3 weeks of very little sleep, pulling 18, 20-hour days. And it wasn't unusual. It happened every couple of weeks. But this particular time, it was just a build-up, and we've been working on a big campaign. There were some issues on it. We were shooting a big TV ad with a client, and there were some issues on it, and I just managed to solve it and sort it out. And at the same time, I was preparing for a board meeting that week. And on this particular, I can't remember, it was a Tuesday or Wednesday in May of 2017, after a night of 0 sleep, because I'd worked through the night. I was driving to the office, and there was already so much pressure, but I was worried about the situation with this one client. And I happened to look at my phone, standing at the traffic light and sitting and waiting for the light to change. And I saw this email from a client threatening to sue us for a few million for this thing that had gone wrong on the account. And I remember that feeling, it was like, I have no way of dealing with this. And I'm a partner in the business, and I'm an MD of 2 of the agencies, but I had run out of options. I was just beyond, how do we solve? And so I walked into the office that day, and I remember my friend, who's HR at the time, she happened to just look at me from across the open plan floor. And just the way she looked at me and turning her head to the side, kind of questioning what's wrong. She could see from a distance something wasn't right. And you know that feeling where you're just holding everything together. You're barely hanging on. What's that word? A hair's breadth. You're hanging on by a hair's breadth. But she had asked the question, and what followed was inevitable. I literally, as I was walking, I felt my legs wobbling. I felt I was not in my body anymore. And I kept walking to her office, and I just reached the door, and those stilettos I was wearing, it came off my feet as my body gave way. And when I looked back eventually at what had happened in the moment, it was a panic attack, but I'd been holding my breath. The anxiety, I used to feel my anxiety in the pit of my stomach. My stomach would pulse like a big knot pulsing, and that's what happened. And this tightness had moved from the pit of my stomach, literally, like I imagine it, like a boa constrictor, all the way up to my throat.
Sure.
And the more I tried to breathe and speak, nothing was coming. It had been locked off in this desperation to deal with what was going on.
Sure.
And I didn't pass out, but I fell down on the side of the office. And she came to kneel next to me and she brought me tissues and she was trying to speak to me, but the tears had started coming and it wasn't silent. It was this loud, guttural cry that just sobbing that wouldn't stop. And eventually when I could speak, the first words that came out was, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. In my book, I talk about it as my meltdown mantra.
Yeah.
You know, mantras are usually something we say to uplift ourselves. This was one that became the moment of reckoning. So I immediately threatened to resign. I was like, I'm done. Go tell them I'm done. And she said, no, you can't resign. She did try and tell them, and they said, please just settle her. So anyway, she eventually said to me, I'm taking you to 4 Ways Life because I think you need a sedative, you need something to calm you down. So on admission, she took me down to 4 Ways Life Hospital. And I remember just on the drive there feeling so numb. It's like the shutters, like, you know, window blinds, like it was just everything had come down. There was just an emptiness, a hollow inside of me. And she got me admitted because I could not speak. I wasn't able to comprehend just anything. Like you asked me, what's your name? Tell me who you are. That wasn't available to me at the time. It was just, I was numb inside. So anyway, they admitted me, well, just in the emergency room, in the ER. You know those blue curtains that they put you behind on the bed? And this doctor came in and with a tray of sedatives and stuff. And I remember the feeling as the injection went in, this burning sensation, and then just utter nothingness. That's all I remember, till they came and woke me about 5-6 hours later. They said, your friend's here to get you. And I sat up on the bed. I remember pushing myself up in the bed, just trying to hold myself up. And she came in and she said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm done. Almost just wanting her to remember the same words I'd said before.
Nothing's changed. I had a
Nothing's
nap,
changed.
but nothing's
I had a
changed.
deep nap,
Nothing's
but
changed,
I am
honey.
done. And that was the anxiety breakdown that I had as a result of unrecognized burnout for 3 or 4 years.
Sure.
And I mean, really, I was prescribed antidepressants, sleeping tablets, all of that. I filled the script. And that particular night, when the thoughts started coming and revisiting the day, I did take 2 sleeping tablets for the first time in my life. And I thought it was just the external environment. Meanwhile, I was present in each one of the situations and I didn't choose. I kept choosing what I thought was going to give me the security until it nearly cost me my actual life, my physical life it is. Anyway.
What were the things that you missed, do you think, or that you're speaking about in terms of, you thought they were environmental, but actually it was your own choices? What were some of the things? Because I think we're all in this rat race, right? And we don't see some of these things. I find myself waking up at 2 a.m. sometimes, not knowing why. And I find myself having the right energy, in fact, to go through these days. And I question myself, what's happening? So with you, what were the things you think, now that you know better, that you missed, that was a sign of something coming?
Something's going on, right? So you reference such a good point, because our bodies are always speaking. So my body spoke very loudly to me, but I ignored it. I thought these are just things that are happening. So physically, I had symptoms like permanent migraines. Like if I tell you I haven't had a migraine in the past, I probably had in the past 5 or 6 years, I've had maybe 3 migraines. I was getting a migraine a week, and a migraine lasts 48 hours. And so I was constantly on migraine cocktails to try and cope. So permanent migraines. But this was from overwhelm and stress and constant laying awake at night and worry. So the migraines came. Chronic sleep fatigue. I slept very little. In fact, it used to be like a brag factor at work. You know, only operating on 2 hours sleep. I only slept for 3 hours. Pulled an all-nighter.
We wear it like a badge of honor.
You wear it like a little nutty badge, like a gold star.
Yeah.
It is not. And that's a big part of the work I do now. It is not a naughty badge to be bandied about as a little... No.
To be exhausted.
We are doing harm to our bodies on a cellular level when we're not getting enough sleep. So I was not sleeping. I wasn't eating well. I was living on coffee, 10 cups a day. It's a stimulant, kept me going. And I was eating 1 meal a day. And it wasn't even a home-cooked meal. It was one of those warm-ups. You know, when you stop at the service station with a forecourt and we buy one of those ready-mades, poke 5 holes and put it in the microwave. I was living in that way. And so I even had IBS, irritable bowel syndromes and symptoms. I had an inflamed gut. I later found out it's cortisol, the stress hormone, that was literally flowing into my gut and inflaming my gut all the time. So I tell a story in my book, but people often thought I was 5 or 6 months pregnant because I permanently had a bloated gut.
Sure.
So those were some of the physical symptoms. And then, you know, after the burnout and the breakdown, after I'd left work, some people shared some stories with me. And these are one of the symptoms, is that I was emotionally erratic. My moods were up and down. And I always thought I am a gentle person. But some people at the office later told me, they said, you know what, we were a little bit scared of you. We used to take bets to see who come into your office to ask for sign-off. Because on some days we didn't know who we'd get, who we'd meet. And I always thought I was this gentle person who, look, I also did get messages. I got one this week from someone saying, you were such a good leader, you really nurtured, you taught very well, you mentored.
But it wasn't always
that, it was erratic. Yeah. And so these up-down mood swings, definitely lack of sleep, constantly getting sick. You know that flu that keeps coming and you just can't drop it, you can't crack it? Those are physical signs that your body is unable to regulate itself, to bring it back into its state of balance. So those are some of those physical symptoms. But the emotional ones are those mood swings, not being in proper connection with those around you. You know, you with your daughter or your son, but you're not fully focused, or you're distracted because that email's playing on your mind. I used to go to braais with my friends. Like, I used to make time. I have to have, you know, my people in my life. I'd be sitting at the braai, but I'm thinking about, that document I must go home and write. So I'm there in body.
Always.
But my presence is not there.
We're always,
How often are we just distracted and drawn out because there's so many things needing our attention? Is it real need? Is it perceived? Everything seems to be urgent these days, but I don't think everything's urgent. And so those are some of those things. And then the truth is, and I share about it in my book, but if I really had to think about it, there were 2 sort of really big wake-up calls that I had. 3, 4, 5, but 2 that really stand out. You know, I've always been, I think, had a gift of intuition or been able to listen or get signs, but I tuned them out because I was so desperate to survive and continue. So one of the things that happened to me was in 2015, 2 years before this breakdown, I was held up in a hijacking. So I'd gone to help my son and his father and his father's girlfriend move house. They were just moving from one street to the other in Auckland Park. And I'd gone to assist them just with the last few boxes and all of that. And on the last trip into the house, I was carrying in a box, and then I came back out to get another one from the boot of my car. And I was parking off street in the driveway. And I was thinking about this document that I needed to submit the next day. And I was kind of absent-minded, but I was digging in the car boot, and then I heard a car pull up. And I kind of looked and I saw this car is a bit odd. It's standing on the opposite side of the road right behind me. And I thought, maybe they want directions somewhere. But when 3 people got out the car at the same time, 3 doors opened, 3 guys hurried over to me, one wearing a hoodie, and the gun got put into my side. In that moment, I was like, okay, this is it. This is happening. And so what unfolded was the attempt to literally... they took everything, phones, bags, keys, give us everything, give us. A lot of chaos, creating that pandemonium. And in the moment, my life did flash before my eyes. My body actually, I wet myself, I urinated on myself, because in that moment, it's life or death. It's, is this happening? And they tried to put me in the car with them. And I was like, I can't be a statistic. In that moment, my son happened to come out the gate. He was behind me. And they pointed the gun at him and threatened, get back. Somewhere in there was that still small voice, that voice that said, if they're letting him go, you can go. So anyway, I started taking a step back. Eventually this gate, the garden gate, was in our view, and my son slammed the gate shut, and I almost half expected to hear the gunshot ring off because they were pointing the gun. we got away. The bottom line is we got inside the house, all of that. Here's the story. This happened at 8 o'clock in the evening. The next morning at 8 o'clock, I was sitting in bed at a friend's house with my laptop open, writing the last of that new business tender document, which had to be in by 12 or 2 that day. So I just shelved this whole this trauma with, literally it was life or death. It was a moment. And I shelved it because I needed to finish that document.
Sure.
And it's that kind of thing.
Yolanda, you're saying a lot. I'm thinking about how this morning Bonga's telling me of her struggles with us. In fact, you've been talking about it for maybe the past 2 or 3 weeks. And I start talking about, every time I'm stressed, I have this thing. And I'm telling her how to manage it. Not at one point did I talk about managing her stress. I'm talking about take this cayenne pepper, and then it will say, at no point do I say, oh, what's up with your lifestyle?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Maybe have you thought about taking a walk?
Yes.
I'm realizing how do you get yourself okay to continue with the tender documents?
Right.
How do you get yourself okay to open the laptop? But the root cause of the issues, we're just not interested in addressing.
We don't.
We just feel like we need to keep going.
Right.
Oh man, I'm so convicted. This is an episode for me.
And I'm taking us back, but this part where we all wear this not sleeping enough, waking up early as a badge of honor.
Team 5
you know how strict I am about my work-life balance. And it's really frowned upon.
Right.
It's really frowned upon because it's like, oh, you leave at this time. Oh, you leave your laptop at work. It's like, oh, wow, those things are wrong, And there's this rat race, and you can't blame people for what it is because unfortunately it's rewarded, right?
Right.
And in this capitalistic society that we live in, the security you speak of, one of the things I wanted to ask you, I'm like, okay, my brain immediately goes to the fact that, okay, Yolanda, you left your fancy jobs. Now, did you gather enough money? Because you were an MD at the end of the day. So maybe you gathered enough money. How are you surviving? What is it? Okay,
it feels like surely there was a way out for you.
Yes. Right. And that's I love that you asked that.
Yeah.
I really do. Because here's the thing. So I'm not going to go into the history, but I didn't get good value for when I left, that was it. It was not a good time to leave. I didn't really get a good share value payout, really, seriously. I think my pension fund paid out more than my actual shares in a business. So that's not the point, because often people do go, oh yeah, but you were a business partner. Surely you came away with enough. I did not. I actually did not. Sure. And so the interesting thing is I had to start from zero again. And then I realized, but I would still have chosen that because it had reached a point where it literally was either life or death. And so it came down to I spoke about choice. Yeah. You always have a choice in the matter. It's just what you're prepared to have as a consequence. Yeah. And are you prepared to give up some of your lifestyle? Are you prepared to actually maybe take a lower paying job? Are you prepared to, just so that you can have more time for you, leave your laptop at work, go home and have real downtime? So, and choices have consequence, but you have to work out what the balance is. When I work now, I really often talk with people about what does success look like for you? What is success for you? Because for me, success used to be, and it wasn't flashy, but it was about security, right?
Right? This is the word we talk about all the time. The security word has us in shackles.
It does. And the world is designed to create fear around security. Yes. It's designed for that. It literally is. And no bad on all of this, because we all have the option of choice, but insurance companies are always calling us and giving us the worst case scenario. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if all the unpredictable things? We don't yet live in that future. So it's just fear-based, designed to get us to feel trapped in, we have to keep this job. We have to keep doing that. We have to be promoted and earn a bigger salary. All of that is going on all the time. But actually, we still have a choice. And so we're prepared to maybe downscale. Are we prepared to not go to private school? Are we prepared to not have the overseas holiday, but just have a holiday at home in the garden? what does success look like for you?
Sure.
And now for me, when I have a good night's rest, not those 3 hours, when I get 8 or 9 hours sleep, when I go to bed without a million thoughts trying to rush out my head, when I set a boundary and I ensure it's enforced and no one's stepping over the line with me, that is what success is for me now.
Sure.
Clarity of self. And it is not tied to anything in the material world anymore. And it doesn't mean, oh, I got a big house. No, I don't.
Was there ever a moment, though, speaking now, like truly to struggles, where you've decided to walk away from everything and you're like, I miss my quick trip to Japan. Right. I miss my quick trip to, and the truth is we glorify it, but usually you're so busy you can't go, you don't have time to go to Paris anyway.
Yeah. Or when you're there, you don't have time to be present.
Enjoy it and to be present.
Absolutely.
You just had that experience.
We glorify that, but I want to live a life where I can, but you never end up doing it.
You just have had an experience now.
Yes.
You went to PE, couldn't go to the beach.
And I was beachfront, but I'd gone for work. But yes, I was beachfront and I never once went to the beach. In fact, the one day when we went up to the pool top just before we were going on to the flight back, I was like, oh, there's such a lovely pool top in this. Like,
you didn't even get to go
I didn't even get to go upstairs, it was crazy. And so, it's just that thing that we glorify what it is to be able to afford these things when sometimes you're so consumed that you're not even going to enjoy it.
And you don't even enjoy the fruits of your labor because you're so busy. Or by the time you want to enjoy it, you're so exhausted.
That's another one.
And you don't even really take it in then, right?
Yeah.
And so... definitely. Again, in my book, I say there's nothing that could ever make me trade places with that again. Sure. Because I found a different kind of peace, a different kind of living more real in the world, more rooted, more grounded, with less material, but also less concepts of who I should be. There's a whole chapter in my book on labels. Labels.
Please hold up the book.
Yes, let's go through it.
Because, so this is, there we go. Gentle. A healing journey in no particular order.
Sure.
And my son designed the book cover and the actual book for me. And he was part of my healing journey because when I was so busy with work, I had no time for him. And we actually grew apart and we had to come back into our relationship. But now he was an adult. And then we had to rebuild, and we chose to rebuild. So anyway, he designed my book for me, but really it came down to choice because it's all available. All the options are there. Yeah. It just is what you're prepared to let go of, what you're prepared to choose. And I literally, for me, being more present, being more in harmony with myself, not having that gut-wrenching, constant anxiety is the choice I made. So, I let go of the labels. No need for the Miss CEO anymore and all that stuff.
Sure. And you know what? What I think about this, as much as I'm also like guilty, but I think about how the fact that there's nothing you can do to recover from the damage we're making. Like you can't catch up on sleep.
Right.
Like the you spoke about the breaking down or the after the repercussions of the lack of sleep, the stress. I mean, you cannot say this is my prime. I'm sleeping 4 hours. I'll sleep at 50 or I'll sleep at 40 something. You cannot go back.
The cellular damage is
done. And that's what I mean, I'm guilty, but I have a level of awareness that Isha will know this about me. I'm very what is this? Aware of rest. I'm very selfish about my time. I'm very aware of a lot of things, but I am guilty of other things as well. And I will look at other people in other contexts and be like, the damage you're doing, you will not recover from, and this could even be on our lifestyles, our eating habits. So I prioritize rest, but there's also the eating aspect or different aspects that we don't look at that you will not get that back. And like you said, when you saw your doctor, he said you may not make it to, what is it?
43.
Yes, you may not make it. And that's really, that 50 you're planning to rest at.
Right.
I'll sleep at or I'll rest at. You may not see it with all this damage you're doing. But another layer I wanted to ask, actually, given who sent this question, is do you think it was the particular industry that you're in that led you to that state or the overwhelm?
No.
It was you.
It was me. So literally, if I look at it now, and that industry is really busy, it's very intense. Communications is that, marketing, sponsorship. But the backstory to how I ended up there, it was the agreements I'd made with myself when I was a little girl, when I thought I need to make my way in the world. I wanted to create financial security. I wanted to come out of this feeling of being so held down and not having my voice in the world. It was a very controlled environment I grew up in. And so that was my backstory. And I kept driving that agenda, unbeknownst to me, that is what drove me to keep pushing at work. Yes, there were external factors like, in the business, I was really trusted in the business. And so a lot of, how they say busy people are always busy. You kind of give it to the person who's going to get the job done quickly and do it well. So things came to me for that reason. But behind that, I felt I couldn't drop the ball. Sure. I felt I wanted people to know that I'm good at what I do. I wanted people to know that I'm trustworthy, and I wanted to be in the boardrooms. And it wasn't about significance for me. It was just about, look, I actually did this and I'm doing it for myself. And so that blinded me. So often when I work with my coaching clients now, there's the surface stuff, and often their symptoms present as always chronic exhaustion. They're on the edge all the time. I mean, they're having breakdowns in the bathroom at work, and then they wipe their tears and they go back into the meeting. So those are the signs that immediately show when I'm coaching with them. But behind that, there's a bigger reason.
Absolutely.
What's your reason? Is it about significance? Is it because in my family, and I'm not saying mine, just when we talk to people, that you're the first one to go to varsity. So the pressure of, living into your degree and taking care of the family financially. And yes, we all have black tax. It happens across cultures and races. We're taking care of others. And so this need to constantly perform. In our South African context, the state of the economy, the state of our unemployment rates, we hang on to jobs because we're so scared we won't get another. And it's a real thing that causes people to end up in burnout, because we don't then go and have the conversation at work to say, look, I'm not coping. There's too much going on here. I need support. We think asking for support and vulnerability is weakness. It is not. It's just how we're having the conversations. And so a lot of that work now is around learning to have critical conversations, but in a way that it has impact for you.
Sure. I even like this idea of there being different layers to why we do certain things.
Yes.
I'm currently reading What Happened to You, What Happened to Me, What Happened to You,
What Happened to You,
What Happened to You, Oprah and Dr. Perry.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing how we discard how much our childhood, how much we're all deeply trying to heal our inner child. And sometimes it really boils down to just that. Proving your worth in the space. Sometimes we make it seem like it's about nice life, but sometimes it's even way deeper than that. It's that
it's an emotion.
Ursula deserves a voice and space in the world.
Right.
And younger Ursula needs to know that she made it. And if it means not sleeping, then that's what we're not gonna do. Right. And so I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much inner child healing that we need to do, and the work that we need to put into
100%.
I want to know, right? I'm listening to you, and like we said earlier, pointing towards like the privilege, but you're an MD, we're right at the bottom of the food chain and things like that. You're coaching, and surely the solution can't be that we all quit our jobs.
Right, exactly.
So in this coaching space, you're coaching executives, you're coaching interns. What are you saying to people, and what are you saying to the audience at home? How do we find balance where we can build the career and we can make time and space for self? Because it feels like it's an either or.
Right. And it shouldn't have to be. And thank you. That question is so beautiful, because yes, we don't all have the option of being able to say I'm done and then literally leaving. I only said I'm done because I literally didn't even know what I was going to do after. So yes, how do we bring it into balance in the present moment? How do we still have our work, earn our income, but come into the space of maintaining our mental health, taking care of our well-being? So I often ask people, what's not working for you? One of my first questions in the session, what's not working for you right now? And people go, oh, there's that. Are you not sleeping? And then we start looking at what's not working for you. And behind each one of that, there's a reason. So there's no effect without a cause. And there's no cause without it having an effect. So we always a good place to start is what's not working for me right now. The other thing I like unpacking with people up front is, it's the work of Tony Robbins. It's called the 6, he may popularize it, but it's the 6 human needs. What's important for you right now? Certainty or having variety? Growth, significance, love and connection, or making a contribution in the world?
Sure.
And when people look at that 6 human needs and they say, no, my biggest thing is significance. And then we look at what's behind the need for significance. What's the need to climb the ladder, to have more, to have the bigger house? You start out in that bachelor. Next thing, it's the 2-bedroom apartment. Next thing, it's the house in the complex. Then it's in the estate. What's the need behind the significance? What's driving it? And so we really look at those things. And then how to live in balance. Because yes, we can't give up our jobs. Not all of us anyway. So I ask, what can you do as practices? What is it that comes alive in you when you feel whole? What is it that you do? And it's different for different people. Does music make you feel alive? What kind of music are you listening to? Because mind you, what we put into us is what we experience, right? What I listen to, what I watch on YouTube, what I take in as information, the books I read, it definitely determines how I feel inside. So I ask people to look at what practices they can put into place. Do you set an intention for your day? Do you start your day with clarity? Like, this is the day I want to experience. Visualize your day. Create it. This is how I want to be in it. I'm going to stay in my calm and gentle, or I'm going to go in as peace. What is it that you want to create for your day? Because when you set the intention, it's like having an outline, a framework for your day. You'll see how many times, if you set your intention to be calm today, or just look for the joy and the glimmers in the day, you'll notice that that's what comes. But if you don't get clear on your intention, now the guy cuts you off in traffic, and then you react.
The end of the world.
And the next thing this happens, and then you're running late for a meeting, and then you spill the coffee, and the whole day spirals. Setting an intention really helps you choose what kind of day you have. So I ask people to look at how they want to design their lives. Because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. We do.
Sure.
Yes, the mother with 2 kids that has to go to school and this, but we do all have the same 24 hours. It's about blocking time. And my big thing is creating time for stillness. Stillness within. Because when we really start to look inward, when we allow the voice of the world to push out a little bit, I'm big on creating space around me. Even if it's physical space, but I create a lot of energetic space around me. I take time, because that's when I can tune inward and really see what's going on with me. What needs attention, what's not important, what's just a background noise. And I really invite people to go inward. Ask yourself, who am I? Who am I truly? What am I trying to do here? Because the rest is just noise. And sometimes it sounds airy-fairy. It's not. There are beautiful practices and tools behind all of the stuff that in a proper coaching session, when we're setting it up, that's what we work with. And there is no I can heal you. It's each person being willing to look inside themselves and say, what's important for me here? Is it the money? Is it the significance? Is it the success? Or is it health and well-being? So I teach people to look at their sleep patterns and how to go about it, because literally the cells do heal while you're sleeping, and there's a whole sleep study available on all of this stuff. Using music that helps you sleep, 432 hertz is the sleep frequency. So it actually opens up in our brains the pineal gland, which takes us induces sleep. All right. So there's a hormone called melatonin that takes us into sleep state. It's getting off the phones and the iPads and the stuff, but getting off the white light stimulation before. It's making the to-do list. It's putting on that kind of music. It's going into nature and grounding your energy. I spend a lot of time in nature. Nature's such a beautiful healer. We have forgotten the roots of the original medicine. I like calling it that. We tend to reach for the pills, but there's a natural way to bring our bodies
Guilty.
right? But we need the awareness, and that's why conversations matter. This kind of conversation matters, because we help each other wake up to the fact that there are different ways to work with our bodies. Also know where in your body stress shows up. I know mine was my gut. For someone else, it's a tightening of the chest. For someone else, it's the jaws
Clenching
and the
of the
sweaty
jaw.
palms. Where does it show up in your body? So that when it's happening, you catch yourself and you go, oh, I need to do something different here. I need to take a moment to pause, to breathe. Physically breathe, literally. When we breathe in, we take in oxygen into our cells. The brain can function better. So on
Yes.
a biological system level, it helps us. But if you think about breath of life, take a moment to breathe, to pause. Breathe in this God energy, this source life energy, whatever doesn't, it's a-religious, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But take a moment to breathe in and sit in stillness with spirit, with God, the universe, whatever you call it. Listen to that inner voice. It only wants the best for you, but we tend to tune it out because we are so busy.
Sure. Yolanda, I feel like I need the coaching from you.
We'll talk. How are you going to do that?
How maybe we will have, but are you on Instagram, Facebook? How do people get?
Yeah, so I'm not very active. So recently I haven't been active because, just by the way, I went off and did a whole nother thing. So this is about me not being contained by labels anymore.
Yeah.
MD of a company once upon a time, marketing career, and I am still a coach. But I recently just spent 4 months in France working with my husband on the yacht that he captains as the stewardess on the yacht.
Yeah.
And listen, stewardess is a nice word for the helper.
Yeah.
I am the helper. I'm literally there. I'm cleaning the toilets. I'm making the beds. And then I put out the, the snacks and the drinks. I'm the helper. But I went off and did that because I've chosen to live a life that is less inhibited and more free and more choiceful. So anyway, that is, and I'm still coaching on the side. So I am on Instagram as Yolanda _ The Gentle Life, because our wellness business is called The Gentle Life. And it's about teaching people to live more gently. On Facebook, I'm Yolanda Oren, so The Gentle Life. I'm on LinkedIn, I think it's the same. But yeah, so I'm there, and we've got a website called thegentlelife.org. Yeah, so I'm there, and I do virtual coaching. I do in person when I'm in Johannesburg. But it really is a way of looking inward. And I'll just quote this one from my book. It's actually a quote by Rumi. I love quotes, by the way. Got a thing for quotes. But because there's such meaning in it. And
Absolutely.
he says this thing, there is a voice inside that doesn't use words. Listen.
Sure.
And it's often that voice that we're tuning out that can tell us when we're aligned
And
or
when
out of
we're not.
alignment.
Yeah.
And at the core of it, that's the thing I wish I knew early in my career. If I could just slow it down enough to listen inward, to trust that intuition, I think that would have been a guiding force. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
Sorry. Yes.
There's a great emphasis on gentle. And even in the title of your book, and then you say in no particular order. Just tell us a bit about that before we end off the episode.
Yeah. All right. So definitely the healing happened in no particular order. It wasn't like linear. As it came, I got to really look beneath my surface. I got to unpack all these things. I got to look at vulnerability. It's a big process for me because I was afraid to be vulnerable. But vulnerability was a big key to me saying, I need help here. It's okay for me to say, I don't know how. And then to be vulnerable, to open my heart, to show people who I truly am and forget about the judgment, forget about what people would think or say about me. So working with vulnerability, working with forgiveness. I thought I had to forgive other people for what was done to me.
Sure.
I had to forgive myself for how I treated myself in all these situations. And then, to be honest, forgiveness with them came very easy after that. There was almost no need to forgive them. It had to start here. So living in gentleness now for me is definitely all about, firstly, I always going inward, stillness, really checking there, and making a lot of space around me. And people go, oh, but it's isolating. It's not. When I am not in stillness, when I'm not really listening to that inner part of me, then I don't show up as gentle. Then I get frazzled by the world. And so I really go there all the time. I make it a priority, make it part of my daily practice. And I don't say practice, oh, it's so ritualistic. I just start my day. I put on the music I want to. I create playlists of music that speak into my life, that reminds me who I am,
Sure.
that I'm powerful, that I create a lot of my own reality, co-created with God, but I create my own reality through my choices, that I'm empowered to make decisions, that boundaries don't have to mean you're hard. You can set a boundary gently, but be very clear about it. And these are things I had to learn. I never knew this. But I got the support and the help, and I got coached. And so this is really a path to showing people that living in this state of gentleness is available to all of us. Sure. But gentleness is not weakness. It requires a deep strength, a strength of knowing who you are. And if you can live from there, you choose yourself.
Sure. I love the element of forgiving yourself for how you treated yourself. And I say it often to my friends, like if you speak down on yourself, have you ever stood in the mirror and like, I'm so fat? You wouldn't say to a friend, you're so fat. You wouldn't. Then why do you say it to yourself? And I'm even thinking about the one of going on 2 hours, 3 hours sleep. You wouldn't force somebody to stay awake.
So why do it?
Why do it to you? Why do we think it's okay to do it to ourselves?
The one you're most meant to take care of. We are so taught to be gentle and kind with others. Start here. Start here.
Sure.
And it's a really powerful way to live.
Yeah.
I'd love to leave maybe the viewers with a question. Please. This is the one I love coming back to. And I learned it on a workshop that I attended. So someone, I went to some personal development workshops. But that way to really ask the question of who am I? So coming back to this childhood stuff, all of that. Who were you before the world told you who to be?
Sure.
Who's that little Ursula? Who's that little Bonga? Given Eddie? Who's that little, before the world told you who to be, before the world said you must show up this way and you mustn't do that and you must do this, go back, because there's a part of us that came into the world whole and holy.
Sure.
And if we can reconnect with that, that is the purity of essence of spirit. And the world is the world. We still need to live, eat, have a job, have a roof over our heads. But how we go about it is definitely up to us.
Sure. Yolanda, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you so much just for, saying I'm going to live differently. And I'm not only going to live differently for myself, but I'm going to take the opportunity to share with others that it's possible and it can be done. You wrote a book, you're on podcasts, you're saying, I'm leaving this lesson with other people. And so thank you so much for that. I think sometimes people go through really important lessons and they sit with them. And it's like you were supposed to leave a piece of that with the rest of us.
Right.
And we're supposed to, absorb and learn from those lessons. So thank you so much for being that person. And that was today's episode of The Conversation Capital. Don't forget to show us love in the comment section. We want to hear your stories as well with burnout and with mental health. And don't forget to like, share, and so if you haven't subscribed, you should be ashamed of yourself. You got to subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell. And don't forget that today is paid partnership with BetterHelp. And if you'd like a 10% discount, then use the link in our description box below. For now, though, goodbye and God bless.